Hi, welcome and thank you for listening to the Veerle Adventure Podcast. My name is Veerle and I'm taking you with me on a journey. In this podcast, I will give you a glimpse into my location-independent free life. I will tell you about the challenges of online entrepreneurship as a nomad, about finding the right mindset to grow, and how you can experience real freedom in your own non-nomadic life. My name is Veerle and welcome to Veerle Adventure. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome a new episode. I just got off a call with my mastermind and it was an amazing call, and I just realized I needed to record a podcast. Today it is Liberation Day in the Netherlands. It means that 76 years ago World War II ended, and this is the day that it's a national holiday. We celebrate our freedom. And what's better than to record an episode about freedom? And it's not really, it is freedom, but it's not freedom in the sense of cancel your house, go on a holiday and never return. It is more sense of freedom in the way how you do things. This podcast episode is about doing things your own way and how sometimes we get stuck in trying to do stuff by other people's rules or assumptions or whatever. So, I want to start this episode by explaining how I got to this topic, because it has to do with the mastermind call I was just in with my mentor. And the question I sent in advance was about not feeling anything at all. Well, not feeling anything, but I wasn't aligned with what I was doing. It didn't make sense anymore, and I was just struggling a little bit. And it has to do a lot about selling, and it has to do with what I think selling in a business should look like, or what the usual way of selling is. And that just doesn't align with who I am and what I stand for. I don't like it to be sold to something, to be pressured in making a decision. I want to do it on my own terms. When I walk into a shop, I want to be able to browse around and look for something if I like it and ask questions when I want. I don't want someone standing there like, how can I help you? Do you want to buy something? Do you want a discount? Just that annoying salesperson that doesn't feel aligned for me. And still, I thought that that's the way I should do business. I thought that I have to be visible in Instagram stories, that I have to tell people about my products all the time, but it doesn't feel aligned with me at all, because I want people to be aware of my products, but I don't want to push them into buying it. If they feel like it's the right fit for them, they will go and explore. So it's my job to make everything as easy as possible. It has to feel good for me, but it has to feel good for my clients as well. So for me, it doesn't make sense to try to make a whole launch. I cannot pronounce that apparently. A launching calendar. It doesn't make sense to write all these emails when I don't have a big email list anyway. It doesn't make sense to schedule everything in, because I don't work that way. I want to record something when it feels good to me, when it's aligned. That's why I changed the podcast into whenever I feel like it, instead of I have to upload every week. The funny thing is, I don't even like it when podcasts air every week or every day, what seems to be the trend in the Netherlands right now. I don't keep up with it, and I feel like I'm missing out. And I don't like that. So it doesn't make sense for me to upload every week when I cannot stay on that pace myself. So it feels so much better to record when I want to and do everything on my own pace. And I think my clients, my customers like it better when I do something on my own pace as well, because that way I know I will deliver quality instead of quantity. I want something to be really good. I want to have value with my podcast. I don't want to have a podcast because I have to upload a podcast. That doesn't make sense. So, this episode is about doing your own thing. And even though I am someone who strongly stands for doing your own thing, I sometimes struggle with this as well. I need my coach to tell me, hey, Veerle, what you're doing right now doesn't align with you. Or, no, I have to have a coach who asks me the question to make me realize that I'm doing something that doesn't align with who I am and what I stand for. So, what I'm trying to say, it's okay if you don't feel it the way that people tell you should do things. It is okay to do stuff your own way. And I have a small example of another thing that I don't do the normal way. I was having this conversation yesterday with a client of mine, and she asked if some deal was a good deal. And it had to do with a new logo. And at some point I said, have you ever realized that I don't have a logo? I've had my Dutch business for I don't know how long, quite some time, and I never had a logo. It's not on my website. Of course, I have this small icon on the top of my browser that I like, but it's not really the logo that everyone knows me with. I do have a small logo on the invoices that I send out, but it has been there forever and it doesn't align with my business anymore. But it looks nice, so I keep it, but it's not my logo at all. And I've built this new business, the Fearless business, and it doesn't have a logo. Because why do I need a logo? Because you tell me to? Because all the other businesses have it? Why? It doesn't make sense. My business is my thing. It says something about me. So I am the embodiment of the logo. I don't have to have a digital form of myself to be the logo. When I would have a logo, it feels like I have something to hide behind and I want to show myself. So I don't need a logo. People recognize my brand anyway by the fonts I use, by the colors I use. Everything is pink. When you're watching the recording of this podcast episode, you see that my hair is pink as well. It doesn't really show that well with my red sweater, but it is pink. People know that as long as I use pink, it is aligned. People just know that because that's who I am, what I stand for. My niece, and she's only 4, she told me the other day that if it's not pink, it doesn't align with me. Everything in my business is pink and she knows it. She's 4. So, yeah, that's good branding. And then if it's good branding, if it's aligning with you, then you don't need a logo. So, it's another example of doing things my way. And the funny thing is, people always are looking up to other people. They're looking up to business owners who have a successful business and they try to follow the roadmap that that person gives them because it's so much easier to follow someone else than think of your own roadmap. But when you are in alignment, you know what to do next. And that's why it doesn't matter if you don't know. If you don't know, that's just a sign that you have to take a step back, align with your vision, align with who you are on a soul level, and make your plan according to that. You don't have to follow other people's plans. Because if I'm following the plan of my mentor, I would be live streaming now. I don't like live streaming. I like to have this sense of control, even though I hardly ever edit anything. I do like to have the control. And of course, I know that sometimes stuff is better when it's live. So, of course, I will do webinars when I want to have that live experience. Of course, I still do my Pinterest vraaguurtje. It's a my question hour for Pinterest, of course I'll do that, but it's not my always go to. I love the fact that I have a podcast that I can edit if I'm not feeling it. If I don't like a sentence, the other day I had this podcast uploaded, and at the end I said something weird about, well, I'm not sure if I'm gonna upload this episode anytime soon because it doesn't feel good. And then I thought, that's not true. That episode is recorded because I experienced something and it is valuable. It's not my usual episode, but it still makes sense. So I edited that sentence out because it didn't feel aligned, but the rest of the episode felt aligned, and I'm still really happy that I uploaded it. So I like to have that little sense of control, and that's fine. So if streaming is not for you, that's fine. If podcast episodes are not for you, that's fine. If you don't like Facebook or Pinterest or Twitter or Instagram, that's all fine, but you have to know what's your way. And if you want to know which social media platform is the right one for you, you can easily look at what your preferred way of communicating is. Is that in text, in audio, or in video? I know that my writing skills are not the best. So it doesn't make sense for me to do email marketing or long Instagram posts or Facebook posts because they don't communicate my message correctly. So I know that when I want to create something, I shouldn't go write something on a computer. For me, it works better if I talk. So it makes sense for me to have a podcast. So what I do when I'm creating content is that I talk to my phone and dictate everything. So if I do have a post, then it is straight from my heart, from what I'm saying, and not from what I'm writing. When I'm talking, I know my message comes from deeper within. When I'm writing, I'm usually thinking. So that's my ego talking sometimes. So I know that there's a difference between that. And I know that I can use text, but it's a different way for me to get it. So I know video works well for me because then you can see my energy. You can see that I have pink hair or that I'm constantly bouncing around, and you get who I am by seeing me better than just hearing me. And still you hear it when I'm talking as well, but I think seeing me is even better. So I like to do video. And it's not live streaming yet, but I know at some point I might like live streaming more than recording like this. But it's good to know your preferences because that way you can look at which platforms work better for you. If you are someone who likes text, you can go on Twitter, Facebook. Pinterest is more visual, so I wouldn't do Pinterest then, but you are probably good at writing the descriptions on Pinterest, so might be your way of doing that. But you have different options because if you like voice memos, you can go on Twitter, or you can record a podcast, or you can find your way to record text by recording your voice. If you like video, you can go to all the platforms, but probably Instagram stories are good for you as well, or reels or video. Yeah, everything on Instagram works well for you then, I guess. But it's good to know that you can choose your own platform and your own way because you can figure it out for yourself. It doesn't have to be the correct way that people tell you it is. And for example, I don't use Twitter anymore. Not that much, not the way I used to. Back in the day when I was very active on Twitter, I was always just writing those word jokes and those thoughts, lyrics, whatever. It was all text. But I realized that I didn't like that much. So what I did, I started only posting photos. So I used my Twitter account as an Instagram account. And it felt way better and I got a lot of nice responses out of it. But then I realized it's still not really my platform because I cannot use video or audio that well. It's really short message. It's starting to rain. Oh, it's a hailstorm. So I hope you guys don't notice that sound. I guess you do. But yeah, you have to find your own way. So if all the experts are telling you that you should start building your email list, only do that when you know you want to send emails. I hear it so often that people don't want to send emails but are still working on their email list. Why make a freebie, through all the trouble of building that, and then not use it? And of course, I've done this. I made my first freebie back in 2016, I guess, or 15. I had this schedule. It's really loud, the rain right now. Sorry, guys. But I had my first freebie in 2015. It was a schedule that you could use to clean your house. Doesn't make sense for me at all because I hate cleaning and my house was almost never clean. But I had a structure that I used to make sure that I cleaned everything every once in a while. And people could download that from my blog. And people did, but I never used those emails because it didn't make sense to me. And now, a couple of years later, 2018 or 19, I started making freebies for my Pinterest business. And it did make sense because I knew what I would want to send out. So I had this whole funnel with emails and it worked. I have a small passive income because of that email funnel. What I wanted to say is just do something because you feel like it and don't do something because people tell you to. Because if it doesn't align, it doesn't make sense to do it. And you will resent doing it, you will start procrastinating, and that doesn't make sense because then you're procrastinating something that doesn't feel aligned. So you're not going to do it and you're going to feel bad not doing it. So it's a vicious circle. You're going to keep doing it. Well, you're gonna feel bad because you're not doing it, and then you're gonna tell yourself that you have to do it. You're gonna feel bad, even worse because you know what I talk about, right? What I mean here. So yeah, make sure that you do what you want to do, and that it makes sense. And what I said, I think it covers it all. Is make sure you are in alignment because then you know what to do. Then you know what feels right. So work on that before you do anything else. And I guess that's the message of today. So yeah, embrace yourself in all your quirky ways and just do what you do best, who you are, and do what you like to do and what you're good at. But if you don't like to do what you're good at, don't do that. I'm pretty good in organizing festivals, but I didn't like it in the end. So stop doing that and just embrace what you do like and make sure you build your business around that. Because otherwise it's going to drain you and you're going to feel locked in your own business and that's not what you want. All right. I hope this resonated with you. I hope the rain and the hail wasn't too bothering and otherwise I have to edit it out, but we'll see. And I just want to thank you for listening. Let me know if this helps you. I really love if you reach out to me on Instagram because I love getting feedback on my episodes and see the results that people have because of it. So thank you for listening and I'll see you next time. Thank you for getting along on my journey and listening to another episode of Fearless Adventure. Would you like more information on the topic of this episode? Then take a look at the show notes on fearlessadventure.nl. Give your opinion or want to screenshot this episode on Instagram, you can find me and tag me on Instagram at Fearless. That is Veerlez. Fearless. Can't wait to hear from you and see you next time.